Some beginnings do not arrive with celebration. They come quietly, wrapped in grief, born in loss, and carried by people who are too tired to hope, yet too strong to quit. This is not the story of how pain disappears. This is the story of how a woman learns to live again. If stories of resilience, faith, and quiet triumph move your heart, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, so these journeys can continue to reach those who need them most. This is episode 7, A New Beginning. Kelowna lay frozen in winter silence, the kind of silence that feels sacred, heavy, and watchful. It was nothing like the lands Gloria had known before. No dust-filled air, no sirens, no echoes of war. Only snow and stillness. The Matthews home stood quietly on a hill, overlooking the lake like a guardian. Built of cedar and years of love, it held memories in its walls, memories of a son who would never walk through its doors again. When Gloria crossed the threshold that night, warmth met her where fear once lived. Cinnamon tea scented the air. Soft light spilled across framed photographs of Ethan, his childhood smile, his uniform, his wedding day. Her heart tightened, but something unexpected followed. Not peace yet, but safety. For the first time since everything fell apart, grief did not feel homeless. Later, when the house surrendered to sleep, Gloria remained awake. Daniel breathed softly in his bed. Baby Elyse lay swaddled nearby, unaware of how much she had already survived. Gloria sat by the window, holding a journal that had crossed borders and heartbreak with her. Its pages were stained with prayers whispered in fear, hope written through tears. She wrote again, not with desperation, but with honesty. She did not ask for answers. She asked for strength to live beyond survival. Outside, snow fell like feathers from heaven, and for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to miss Ethan without falling apart. It was her first night without fear, and her first night learning that grief could coexist with grace. The days that followed moved slowly, deliberately, like a wounded heart learning how to beat again. Mornings came with quiet routines, afternoons filled with shared meals and unspoken understanding, evenings softened by stories and music drifting through the house. Gloria cooked meals from home, dishes rich with memory and spice, while the Matthews home absorbed new rhythms, new cultures, new healing. The house became a meeting place of worlds once far apart, now united by loss and love. And without realizing it, the silence inside Gloria began to loosen its grip. But healing did not erase the question that returned every morning. What now? She stood by the frozen lake, staring at a horizon that refused to answer. The cold bit her skin, mirroring the emptiness she carried. Survival was no longer enough. Peace, by itself, felt incomplete. Deep within her, something stirred. Not restlessness, but calling. A quiet insistence that her life was not over, that what she had endured was not meant to end in silence. Grief had shaped her, but it would not define her. The idea came gently, almost timidly: education, purpose, rebuilding. Returning to school felt impossible. Her past was heavy, her present uncertain. Yet as she filled out the application, something sacred happened. With each word she typed, she reclaimed a piece of herself the war had tried to steal. Her name no longer felt like a reminder of loss. It felt like a promise. That application was more than paperwork. It was a declaration. She was choosing life again. The morning she stepped onto campus, the world felt unfamiliar and full of possibility. Young faces passed her by. Laughter echoed in hallways. Languages blended into a hum she barely understood. Yet when she sat down in her first class, something unexpected happened. Peace. Not confidence born of certainty, but courage born of obedience. She was no longer running from pain. She was walking straight into purpose. Life became a delicate balance. Classes by day, work by evening, motherhood by night. Sleep came late, Strength was borrowed from prayer and persistence. Notes were written while the world slept. Sometimes exhaustion whispered that it was too much, but something stronger answered back. Do not stop. Strength did not arrive as triumph. It arrived as endurance. And every night she chose not to quit, she became someone new. Grief returned in unexpected ways. A melody drifting through the cold air. A memory wrapped in sound. She stopped, frozen, not by pain alone, but by love that refused to fade. Tears fell, warming her cheeks as the pendant at her neck caught the streetlight. She was still standing. And love, once given, had not been buried with Ethan. It had become part of her strength. 2 years later, she stood where she once believed she never would. There were no cameras, no headlines, no roaring crowds, only quiet applause, and a heaven that remembered every tear. When she lifted her diploma, it was not pride that filled her heart. It was gratitude. She was no longer just a survivor of tragedy. She was proof that restoration is real. That night, the lake lay frozen under moonlight, still, reflective, patient. Gloria looked out at it and understood something she hadn't before. Love does not end. It transforms. She was still grieving, still healing, still becoming, but she was no longer lost. A new season had begun. That winter in Kelowna, grief did not disappear, but it gave birth to purpose. A widow became a scholar, a survivor became a builder, and pain gave way to promise. If this story touched you, encouraged you, or reminded you that new beginnings can rise from the coldest endings, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because this journey is far from over, and the climb has only just begun.